So this is about Derek Chauvin, and I wanted to pull this comment out and reply to it so that we can touch on it, generally speaking. So this person says, hopefully he never gets pardoned, Derek Chauvin. But I always thought that presidential pardon covers everything. No, it does not. And that's why I wanted to pull this comment out and reply to it so that it's sort of a PSA for everybody. There is, in some circles, in some instances, a misconception that if a president pardons you, they can pardon you for any crime that you committed. That's incorrect. A president can only pardon you for federal crimes, crimes for which you have been charged by the federal government. If you've been charged at the state level, so in this instance, the state of Minnesota charged Derek Chauvin, and the federal government charged Derek Chauvin. Why did he get charges from both the state and federal? Because it was a high-profile case. So murder is typically a state charge. You unalive somebody, you kill somebody, you're going to get charged at the state level. If it's a high-profile case, like Derek Chauvin's, where the federal government's like, okay, the state's going to charge him, but we're going to charge him as well because we want to make sure that this guy gets the punishment that he's got coming to him in case the state fucks it up. So then the federal government will charge him as well. That doesn't happen in all cases, right? But it happens in some high-profile cases. That's what happened in this case. Minnesota gave him, I think, 25 years, and I think the federal government gave him 24 years. Donald Trump can come into office on the 19th or the 20th of January and pardon Derek Chauvin for the federal crimes and erase those 24 years, but he can't erase the 25 years that he's serving for the crime in Minnesota. The only way you can get pardoned for a state crime is if the governor of that state, or if there's some type of pardoning board for that state, issues you a pardon on the state level. It does not. Presidential pardons do not apply to state charges. Never have, never will. So just so that everybody understands kind of a general broad overview of presidential pardons. Federal crimes only, state crimes you can't touch. If Derek Chauvin wants to be pardoned for his 25 years that he's serving on the state level, then he needs to get a pardon from the governor of the state of Minnesota, which is currently Tim Walz. That's not going to happen. And as long as Minnesota stays blue and there are Democratic governors there, I doubt any Democratic governor would ever issue this fucking guy a pardon to allow him to get back out and get back into society. Now, I think I'd have to go and double check. I think that the state crimes and the federal crimes were running concurrent. Is that the right terminology? Whatever the terminology is, where they run together, right? So it's not he serves 24 years for the state crime and then begins serving 24 years for the federal crime. They're running at the same time. So even if Donald Trump steps in and pardons Derek Chauvin for the federal crimes, it doesn't matter. He's still serving the same amount of time in prison because of the state charges.